pattern or practice? Tonight, the U.S. Department of Justice held a public webinar to answer questions, but also get community feedback on the investigation into the Memphis Police Department.
Now, some of those concerns, what launched this investigation, and will information be kept confidential?
Fox 13's Kayla Solomon is joining us live from MPD headquarters downtown. Kayla, the DOJ says that it is looking at incidents from the last 5 years, so we're talking at least 2018.
Darcy, that's just the starting point. They're looking at the last 5 years, but they're also asking people with experiences from before that to come forward because it could show some historical context as for any problems that could exist in the Memphis Police Department. It's been 5 days since the U.S. Department of Justice, or the DOJ, announced a pattern or practice investigation into the Memphis Police Department. On Tuesday, the public got a chance to ask questions, including whether or not this is solely based on the death of Tyree Nichols at the hands of 5 former MPD officers.
We do not focus on individual incidents. An individual incident is insufficient to show a pattern or practice of conduct under the law. An individual incident may, however, be relevant to understanding a larger pattern or practice.
The DOJ says the criteria to open an investigation comes down to the seriousness of allegations, number of allegations, and also the history of the department. But before the findings can be released, as much information from the public is needed. And when asked about reporting anonymously, one DOJ investigator says the department does its best to keep any information confidential.
In our public findings report, we don't list people by name, except for some public figures. Of course, in the Louisville findings report, we talked about Breonna Taylor. In the Minneapolis findings report, we talked about George Floyd. And we may name city leadership like a mayor or a chief, but we typically don't identify individual officers.
Another question asked revolved around the growing crime in Memphis and how officers can respond aggressively to it.
In the face of these challenges, the police department, like the Memphis Police Department, needs to ensure that its enforcement efforts are effective in responding to the challenge of crime while also complying with federal law.
So what does happen if there are findings? The DOJ answered that question too.
If we do find that there is a pattern or practice of conduct that violates the Constitution or federal law, we will issue a public report that will set out the evidence supporting that claim.
Now, again, they are relying on the public to come forward and share any experiences with the Memphis Police Department. There's a couple ways you can do that. You can email this email address, community.memphis@usdoj.gov. You can also call this number. It's 888-473-3730. You can also find this information on our website at fox13memphis.com. Darcy.
That is Fox 13's Kayla Solomon reporting live downtown tonight. Thank you, Kayla.